Welcome back, everybody, to the North Central Washington MVP series brought to you by Career Connect Washington and the Apple STEM Network. I'm your host, Carrie Horning, Career Connected Learning Specialist with NCESD 171. So today is the first day back, and I feel like I slipped into my favorite PJs or my favorite sweats, and I'm kind of snuggling into the couch. This series has really become one of my favorite roles in the work that I do for Career Connected Learning. So glad to have you all here and welcome back. I'm going to take care of a few housekeeping items first. I just want to remind everybody that our goal today it's real simple. We want to introduce our community partners throughout North Central Washington to one another, be it industry, nonprofit, educators, or community members with an interest in what's happening around them. And a win today means that each of you leave with a greater understanding of the work that's being done all around North Central Washington. So grab your lunch, sit back, and get ready for an extra dose of professional nourishment. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with both Dr. Sue Kane and Tami McBride. They're representing the Career Connect Washington Network, two professionals that I am honored to work with. So Sue and Tami, welcome in. Welcome to MVP.
Hi there.
Hi. All right, I'm going to do a quick intro and then we'll get rolling into the questions for everybody. I keep saying, I love this work. And then I also say I'm super excited about today's interview and I'm a little bit nervous. I'm the luckiest gal in the world. Part of it's for working with these two ladies, amongst others, in the work that we do. Sue hired me back in 2018, and she embodies the title of mentor and leader. I've been privileged to work alongside her, and she literally has a depth of understanding and compassion for this work like none other I've ever met. So I lovingly refer to her as the maestro because she conducts all the work that we do that really is just directly lifting up our students in our communities. So welcome in, Sue. And then Tami, she arrived on the Career Connected Learning scene in 2019. While her home region is more Chelan-Douglas County, she travels all of North Central Washington for Career Connected Learning as well. When she's not planning college and career expos or student youth events, employment events, or a wealth of other, Career Connected Learning activities, you can find her up in the mountains. And I mean that kind of literally. Like she's skiing freshies at Mission Ridge and then heading down to hike her favorite trail. And I think that's at their cool down. So Tami's kind of a little bit of a superwoman too. But we're excited to have them. So thanks for coming, gals. You guys ready to get this going?
We are, yeah.
All right. Okay, so let me do another little pop here. Our regional Career Connect Washington Network is made up of local entities and leaders who are deeply invested in our communities here in North Central Washington. As a small part of this network myself, I can say I've met amazing people doing career connected learning work, and it makes me think about our region as a whole. Last year, I drove some 8,500 miles from Orrville to Othello and from Wilson Creek to Waterville. I personally love the windshield times. In fact, one of my favorite memories is grabbing coffee up at Voltage in Grand Coulee and just kind of enjoying the sunrise over Grand Coulee Dam before I headed to an event at the high school there at Lake Roosevelt. I know you both cover some serious miles as well, so I'm looking forward to hearing more about your travels and some of your favorite spots in the region. So I'm going to start though with Sue. So Sue, tell me about our Career Connected Washington Regional Network. What exactly is a regional network?
That's a good question. So the Regional Network for Career Connected Learning in North Central Washington is co-led by the North Central ESD, where we work, and SkillSource. And SkillSource is the home for our Workforce Development Council that serves Chelan, Douglas, Grant, Okanogan, and Adams County. So we teamed up. Really, this is the third round of grants that we've applied for together as partners to be able to support the region. And the regional network work is really aimed at serving youth ages 16 to 29, although we know that sometimes we have multi-generational wins and we get new jobs for even some of the moms and dads and aunts and uncles. But really, it's about creating an anchor point, a place where our industry employers and our educators, whether they're K-12 school educators or higher ed, our labor and government leaders, and community-based organizations like the regional library or the Equity Alliance can all come around the table, and we meet once a quarter to review what's going on in the region, where there are opportunities for growth and development, where we might have gaps, and we have existing programs that need to be buffed up, and where maybe student awareness and participation might be the issue. So we're really kind of examining the current system to see how well it's working to meet the needs in the region, and who it's working for, which is really important. Our regional network is really committed to make sure that even youth farthest from opportunity have opportunities to explore, which is so important in North Central Washington because it's so far flung, and some of these communities are little and remote and rural, but there's opportunities for those youth to be a part of the community and have career paths that are really meaningful too. So we're looking at how the system's aligned and who it's benefiting, who it's serving. And then my favorite part, I'm not supposed to have a favorite part, but I do, is the regional network gets to help build programs. So where you have that table set, there are people sitting across from each other who say, hey, if you brought that and I brought this, we might have a really great program here. And we've been able to see the launch of new programs in the region that arise from some of these conversations and connections. We've celebrated 24 new programs in 3 years as a regional network. And we've been able to bring almost $2 million in funding over the last 3 years to develop those programs through some of the state grants for that purpose. So the regional network is kind of a hive of activity for career connected learning.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So can you talk to us a little bit more specifically about, I don't know, maybe your favorite program, or I guess you're not supposed to have favorites. So just how about a program? Let's go there.
Yeah, well, I mean, the first program that I learned about is still with us and still doing incredible things. And that's the Aerospace Joint Apprenticeship Committee, AJAC, had been at work in Grant County. And we've seen them come and adapt some of the things that they've been able to do to different industry employers all across North Central Washington, to help young people get a credential while they're getting paid work, which is really cool.
Mhm.
But then most recently, the last one that I was just involved with last spring was up in the Okanagan, and we have a very successful sustainability fellowship program that operates all summer long with college students. And they said, hey, we should get local kids involved in this sustainability pathways program. And they did a community of practice with our career and technical education teachers and directors last year to help say, how do we create the on-ramp? How do we raise visibility about this program? But also kids can start learning about how to think about sustainability as an employability skill set, even while they're still in high school. And that brought the Colville Confederated Tribes in. They just applied for a new program builder grant and were successful this summer. And so a new program will actually take their summer field experience that has a paid work component and connect that to some of the natural resource programs in our schools across the region. So it's kind of like pulling a thread. You think like, this leads to that, and we are moving in this direction that will see every young person find a pathway, which is so exciting.
Super exciting. Yeah. In fact, Colville Tribes is going to be one of my guests here on MVP later this fall. So that's terrific. That'll be fun to kind of pull on that thread a little bit. Absolutely. Okay. So for the layman who maybe is not really, fully aware of Career Connect Washington or our specific regional network, can you tell us, I mean, you've given us some great examples, talked about the programs, but tell us why is our regional network, why is that also important?
Well, it's important because a lot of our districts, we have 29 school districts across this region. Some of them are really big, like a Moses Lake has over 8,000 students. Some of them are really small. Stehegan has fewer than 10. So every range in there, there are different staffing configurations and different capacities to be able to help youth with imagining what that future could be, preparing for it, getting that credential. And when we do this regionally, what we do is lift it up so that employers don't have to go find contacts in each one of those districts and we add capacity to the system by creating this shared space. And it's important for us to be able to do that because it makes it more equitable, so that we don't have employers that look across the region and say, I don't have time to help and support everybody. I'm just going to go to the biggest districts. And what ends up happening is then some of those smaller, more rural and remote districts don't get those opportunities. It's like anything else in physics. If you don't put energy into it, things fall apart. So this also is really important because anchoring it together gives accountability and visibility at a system level. And it allows us to all put a little bit of energy in and have this shared space that is really looking in the best interest of youth.
Very good. Thank you for that. I appreciate that answer. So I think it's maybe a good segue into Tami and talking about this Career Connected Learning, Career Connect Washington Network. You've got a new role there. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I am really excited to take on this new role as new co-lead for the North Central Career Connect Washington. And for some of those that don't know, I have been hardworking at bringing career connected learning opportunities to our region's youth for, I think, over like 5 years now, maybe. And I just feel really honored and excited to keep doing the work that I have been doing, and keep doing it. And then also just work along the side of talented group and professionals and learn from the best. And also my co-lead and partner, Erin Pro. So yeah, I'm thrilled.
And Erin's with SkillSource, for those of you who might not know. And Tami, I'm just going to throw in here, maybe even longer than 5 years, because I know you were doing a lot of work at one of the local camps that was near and dear to your heart. And so serving,
Oh, yeah.
even before this. So very good. All right. So, okay. So Tami, congratulations, first of all, on your co-lead role. That's awesome. Career Connect Washington and our regional network is I'm sure excited and lucky to have you. So, but what are you thinking about with that role for you? What's your vision and what are you hoping to bring to the role?
I just know that the North Central Washington Career Connected Washington Network has been pretty much a work in progress for some time now. And it has built a solid foundation in our region, connecting students with and like the students' education with employment opportunities. And personally, I love being able to offer like students like events and hands-on experiences, and to allow the students in our region to be able to see the career choices that are available in their backyard. And I just like, that's what kind of fuels me. I'm like, I love seeing the aha moments that happen during those experiences and events. And it is what keeps me motivated to keep offering more. I understand that there's like still a lot of work that still needs to be done, like moving forward, and with what has already taken place and being done across the state, especially in our region. I'm just very excited to help still build new programs and to see where the future takes us. So, and like, there's a lot of open opportunities. So yeah.
I know of what you speak when you talk about getting that charge from working with the students. We just were in a meeting yesterday with AJAC and students for an apprenticeship that's coming up locally in Quincy. And to see those 7 students' eyes, wide open with what this potential, might mean for them. And then, to be honest, a little bit of a, kind of closed eye and curious of, wait a minute, I'm not old enough to take advantage of that. What's that mean? And I'm like, no, don't go anywhere. We've got a whole nother program for you, that's coming and more being built. So it's really cool to see the students engaging and wanting to take part in all of the activities that are coming up. So that's a good thing. So, okay, well, that's good. So we've got a good idea of the regional network, what it's doing, kind of what it's about, your new role. But I always like to ask, and this is my first go around, our first go around of this season. So I want to make sure I check in. Is there anything else that you want to share with us today about the Career Connect Washington Regional Network here that maybe we didn't cover yet?
Well, I'll jump in there because it wouldn't be a conversation with me if I didn't mention some of the data, right?
Yeah, data, bring
So
it.
I have a reputation for this, but I will tell you that we're really blessed to be able to have some fantastic data in partnership with our career and technical education programs and our workforce programs at Wenatchee Valley College and at Big Bend College. All of those organizations are represented on the regional board, the governance board that's driving this work. And we have some work to do. So the stat that I want the audience to know and share is that we have done the labor market analysis and looked at what do young people need to have in their backpack for the future if they want family sustaining jobs and resiliency and be able to care for their families or have a family if they choose to. And about 68% of the jobs in North Central Washington require some kind of education or credential after high school. 68%. We are currently on track to provide about 39% of our students with those credentials. That means that the collective us needs to do some work to be able to help young people find that path and identify a certificate program or a degree program or a work-based learning like an apprenticeship program, a military service. I recently heard every student should be enrolled, enlisted, or employed when they graduate. And it stuck with me, so maybe we'll share that as well. But we want to see that right fit for that student, that pathway, and make sure that we increase the number of young people locally that have those credentials so that our kids have an opportunity to get those really great family sustaining jobs. So all of this to say, our goal is to double the number of young people who are on that path and have that credential. And it's going to take everybody to be able to get there.
Yeah, I love that you added that in. Thank you, Sue. And it's one of the things that we work with, in career connected learning as we go out to visit with our employers to say, hey, listen, workforce development is an issue for all of us. How do we help you build your workforce? And really, it comes down to grassroots. Can we do an internship? Can we do a job shadow? Could we dig a little bit deeper, a little bit heavier lift and work on the apprenticeships? And I just want to add to that the one that I was referring to here in Quincy, they're going to start out with one. They're just one apprenticeship. They're going to see how that goes and then hopefully go from there. But that same company, and then we have another company in Moses Lake that are also doing adult apprenticeships. So they're upskilling their current employees for roles that they know they're going to need filled at some point in time, which makes it a little bit easier for them to fill the higher roles and then come in and backfill, the more entry level. So, for all of those companies that are listening, it only takes one. We can really get started with just one if you've got an interest. So yeah, good ad. Okay, so we're about 10 minutes out, and I want to do one last double check before we get into the final question. Anything else about Career Connect Washington, Career Connect Regional Network you want to add? No, okay.
I'll add an open invitation because the meetings there's a board meeting every quarter, and they are virtual. And we have a whole lot of folks who are not on the board, who are not program builders giving updates, but who like to know what's going on. And if that's the case, the door has always been open. So if you're interested in just learning what's going on, that's a really great way. Of course, you'd reach out to Tammy or Aaron to be able to get on that calendar invitation, but you are all welcome to join us and find those partners in that collaborative space.
Yeah, very nice. And that's exactly what this is about with the MVP, sharing out our most valuable partners, making sure that the community is aware of what's happening. So thank you for that too. So, all right. So for all of those who have watched MVP before or know a little bit about me, that fun is kind of like my middle name. So in the beginning of this interview, I talked a little bit about the work that we're doing and the miles that we cover. So getting some windshield time in North Central Washington also means picking out kind of your favorite stops. I talked about Voltage Coffee up in Grand Coulee. I've got some other ones in my back pocket, like 97 Rock Rock House. I love their cookies. I just don't get to Chelan, Douglas County enough, which is actually probably a good thing. But the real take home pay here is you guys have been there before. You've been out there on the road. What are some of your favorite haunts and stops or parks? What do you got for us? What can you share?
I'll jump in first.
All right.
So I have the privilege of having dietary restrictions. So I am my family's gluten-free friendly person. And so I'm always hunting for those opportunities. And Breadline Cafe in Omak, Washington, has a wide variety of gluten-free friendly things. And an awesome gluten-free dessert. The last time I was there, it was pretty delish. And they also have vegetarian options as well, and that's like one of my favorite to go tos. The other one is I'm a sucker for Leavenworth because of their hiking, but also Little Red's Espresso and Bakery. It's my favorite little spot. It's right across from Gustav's, and it's like it's fabulous. So yeah, those are my few faves.
I love that one is in Omak and one is in Leavenworth, because whenever we work together and you come out to the Quincy, Georgia area, I'm always like, bring your own stuff because I don't have anything that's gluten-free. You're a trooper about that, Tammy. Thank you for that. So we'll try to figure something out over here on this side of the region for you. So,
Gotta do it.
Well, I'll add a couple for you lovers of gluten. Maybe you don't love gluten, but you love the carbs and the sticky and the yummy, and the Sweet River Bakery that's up in Pateros is like a stop. If I know that I'm headed up north, I will intentionally make sure that I stop through and get one of their caramel rolls because they're humongous and awesome and delicious.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
But I also have, I mean, you find your favorite spots to tuck in. So the Bookery is one that's out in Ephrata. That's a favorite stop for lunch. Or even the Levelate in Quincy.
Oh yeah.
Sherry and I have met up there. I don't really want to put these out there because y'all are going to be there when I get there. These are my quiet places to retreat, but
no seats available,
and
no seats will be available, and a heavier Wi-Fi.
Oh, Blue Star in is another one.
Yeah, two thumbs up on that. Yeah,
I ditto that one.
Yeah, very good. Oh, I love that. That's the thing, you know, when you're doing the work that you love and then you get to travel and you love the travel, ask any of my friends, they'll tell you. Carrie can tell you where, you know, she's a foodie or whatever that comment is. I love picking out, finding my favorite foodie shops. So those are all great suggestions. I think I've been in 90% of them, I think. So have to slam that home and get in all of them here this year with all of our travels coming up. So all right, guys. So here's the deal. We are just a little bit over 5 minutes out. We do have some live attendees on this one. I want to kind of open it up and ask that if there is anybody here with us today that has has a question for Sue or Tammy or for myself, feel free to unmute. You can pop on or off your video screen, but just ask away if you've got any questions. No questions. Okay. All right. So this is what we do. We like to give back time when we can. So I want to say thank you. I said it in my intro and I couldn't mean it with any more of my soul. Tammy and Sue, I love working with the two of you. I think it's been a major blessing in my life, and I'm grateful that you put up with me on a daily basis. But thanks too for coming in today to talk specifically about our regional network. I appreciate that, sharing the message out to all of our communities throughout North Central Washington and our school districts. So thanks for being here. I'm going to give you guys back your time unless there's any final comments. We're done for today. First MVP is checked and ready to get rolling into our, let's see, what is it? It's our YouTube channel. So we'll put it in the library in the YouTube channel.
Thanks so much for this, and thanks for the work you do to get the word out.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome. All right, everybody, have a terrific day. Thanks for coming in. Bye-bye.